who came from WTO, the late Ambassador Osakwe, did a tremendous job. But he wasn't empowered. So we need two things here. A trade policy. We need a national trade office established by Parliament. Then we need trade remedies legislation. So the trade remedies legislation is the countervailing power that checks when to raise tariffs. If Trump could do that, the so-called liberal democracy, why can't we do that? They tell us that, no, keep your doors open, and they pour things here. Now, if people keep pouring things here, how can you grow? So we need to worry about the appropriate trade policy. Right now, Nigeria is a dumping ground. And as a dumping ground, we're unlikely to develop. They will be dumping. China is dumping. The China-Nigeria trade agreement ought to be torn to pieces. It ought to be torn to pieces. It is so unbalanced. We have about 29 multilateral and bilateral treaties. Some were written in 1959 when we were not even independent. I hope you know that the people in Paris, they still collect money from Mali, from Niger, and all that. That cannot be if we want to be a sovereign country. Maritime governance, that's my specialty. Well harnessed, I told His Excellency the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy. And by the way, Mr. President, thank you very much for that. That was a great move to create that ministry. It will be the cash cow if the laws are there. If, for instance, I told President AKPABIO, I'm your surveyor, you told me to go and survey your land, which you said is only 1,000 square meters. And I tell you, no, it's actually 5. You say, really? You say, please fence it. I was part of the team that studied Nigeria's EEZ, and we're one of 8 countries that the UNCLOS gave an additional 150. We're doing nothing. The Chinese come in the top restaurants in Hong Kong. They refer to it as Nigerian tiger prawns. We are one of the world's leaders in tuna. We have such wealth in our aqua systems that it's a shame we don't understand how to use it. We need to have strong laws. The last time I spoke, I said, we need to have a coast guard. How can you not have a coast guard? Anyone can come to your place, steal your fish in the night, and run away. A coast guard, Mr. President, crucial. A coast guard for all sorts of things. So the $1 trillion economy is possible. Piece of cake. It just requires what one of my partners sent to me, SMART. National Assembly must be specific. Don't get up at 9 and come to work at 11 and leave at 12. No. You must be there for the people. Mr. President, I want to see you in 4 years looking older. So that you would have been worn out. You will get up in the night, walking. The work of the National Assembly must be measurable. Must be able to measure it. It must be achievable. There's no point in saying, see, we'll do all this and then you do nothing. It must be relevant. And it must be time-bound because the first 4 years. So if SMART is applied to these principles I have enunciated, I can assure you the price of, which one again is it? The price of rice. The price of rice will go down. We are a great, blessed nation. No climate wahala. No all those things. You see, no Gaza. No this, no this. What's wrong with us? Leadership. When I see 2 great men here, Mr. President here, my neighbor who abandoned me, Mr. President here, who confessed to me, Obong, so I'm waiting for my crown. I can only wish Mr. President the best. Look, what Nigerians want is not court cases. So let me tell you, They are not interested. They are not in, that is the private affair of the PDP and the APC. Now that the APC is there, make us happy. That is all we want.
You know, while Dr. AKPABIO was speaking, I was looking directly at the president of Nigeria, and his attention was total. And it just occurred to me that I just hope Dr. AKPABIO, at the age of 70, have not talked himself into another national assignment. And so, Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the former Senate president is wearing two caps here. The first cap he delivered as chairman, but right now, we are putting on the next cap on his head as a moderator, as a handover to him.
Your Excellency, Mr. President of Nigeria, Your Excellency, Mr. Senate President, the Honorable Speaker, you can agree with me that we have an uncommon keynote speaker this afternoon. Well, my duty, I'll go straight into. The discussants are all seated, and I need to remind them that our uncommon speaker was stretched to the point. He said he needed to speak to solutions only. No theory, no rhetorics. Suggestions on solutions straight away. He said the first major challenge we must tackle is to have peace and security. Well, he has his suggestions on how we should go about this. The military, he said, may not be an option, that the ethnic nationalities may be more effective. I would want to take the issues one after the other, and as I get to a point, I will highlight it, then I'll invite any of the discussants to speak to it. So let me have the honor and privilege to ask Professor Abiola Sani to please give us your perspective and security without the military.
Thank you very much, the chair and the moderator. Let me use this opportunity to appreciate the President of Senate for creating this platform. If anybody asks what is the big deal about 61st birthday celebration, the fact that you have created this is evidence of the big deal. At least it's an opportunity for us to engage and then follow up quickly on some of the deliverables. And it's also a unique honor to speak at this August occasion where the president is seated. This is the biggest speaking opportunity of my life, and I just hope that a few things I will say will make sense. So now, about security of Nigeria. The first assignment of a government, and any government for that matter, is to secure the people and their property. And I want us to see this in a holistic way. When we talk about government, it's not about federal government alone. It's not even about, it's also not about the local government alone. We need to then build a network where we have so many gatekeepers of this country in terms of security. The federal government alone cannot secure this nation. So there are roles. There are even subnationals and political entity below subnationals must play. And I want you to look at what we have in our gated communities, where the rich live, where the big boys live. They have practically created something to secure them. A big fence to secure all of them, where they don't need to individually create big fences, high fences, and all that. And we must recognize that it is not cheap. It's not cheap at all to secure the nation. Because to police the geographical, physical terrain of the nation with the army, and also to secure the waterfronts and also the airspace. If we commit all our budget to that alone, I doubt if it is enough, honestly speaking. Because we must envisage a system where before crime is committed, it has been anticipated, and the security forces are behind that person. Where we have data of everyone, where before a crime is committed, we have capacity to prevent it, which means there is need for huge budget. And we must think in terms of big figure, in terms of the kind of money that the speaker envisaged. He said, we are not ambitious enough in our budgeting.
That it's not, for now, a matter of budgeting or a matter of the military, because we've gone through this all the while and it never worked. He's suggesting that the traditional institutions, the ethnic nationalities, could be a more effective option. Do you agree?
I agree entirely, because if you look at the system of this country, especially the North, that is the first gatekeeper in terms of security. I don't know how we can envisage a system that works and totally disconnect the grassroots and the people who have influence, the people who have power. You see, if when the colonialists came, they were wise enough to recognize the value of that institution. And that is why they created an indirect rule. If they have attempted to do it directly, it would have failed. So we need to leverage that system and develop a system that will work. And of course, at that level, they know all the players, all the people who are creating tension, but do they have the power to actually intervene and solve the problem? So we need to empower them.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Prof. Now, the legislative space here is how do we adjust our system, amend our laws or create new laws to bring in the traditional institutions as used to be, and let them play a part in our quest for peace and security in Nigeria. And I believe that the National Assembly is taking note. Chief Babatunde Fowler, his second suggestion in this quest for solution, he said, I don't know if you are a lawyer, but he said we should move from transitional legislation to from transactional legislation to transitional legislation, to transformative legislation. And he's saying part of such transformative legislation should include a new legislation to consolidate the bold step Mr. President had taken to remove subsidy. We should be able to develop a legislation that gives it a bone and a backing. He also talked about how do we amend this constitution to now get at what really works for us. His own suggestion is that what the National Assembly is doing presently had been done for so long and it never worked. And he preferred Professor Nwabue's solution that there could be a constitution one of the Constitution. What do you say?
Thank you very much, the chairman of the session. Well, kindly let me acknowledge Mr. President and also the President of the Senate, another distinguished guest. Mr. President, that's the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I may have to ask for your protection I do not know how I found myself among the learned men of the silk. But because I worked under you, I know that you protected me. In terms of legislation, and I think the other discussed, Professor Sani said it, national development cannot be at the federal level only. It has to be the states. That's the subnationals and the nationals. And permit me to use Lagos as an example. When you have people employed and you have the state government looking after your welfare, then you have peace. When Mr. President was governor of Lagos State in 1999, we had 222,000 taxpayers. And when he wanted to make the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service autonomous, there's some people here that also worked with me in Lagos State. They did not believe his dream. But the reality is that for you to get things done, money is essential. You may have the best leader, but without funding, that vision cannot come to pass. Now, the president of the 10th Assembly, sometimes in creating laws, you may not fully understand the vision of the executive that wants to create that law. And I'll use Lagos as an example. When President Tinubu, who was then Governor Tinubu, wanted to make the LRS autonomous, people in the State House of Assembly sent people to me and to other people to say, what exactly is the game plan of Mr. Governor then, thinking that he had some personal motive. But his motive was to get everybody on board, and we know the way the civil service works. It is very difficult to sack anybody for non-performance. But in creating an autonomous board, people could be sacked without wasting time.
Mr. Farmer, yes. I think you are on a very different terrain entirely. Maybe because you are not a lawyer. I mean, maybe it have been my mistake. I would have put this question to Professor Amapiton SAN. Prof, are you with us? Okay. Now, how do you think that we can once and for all achieve this constitutional reform that had been the challenge for quite a long time now? He is saying that no matter how you amend the Constitution, using the present process the National Assembly had been going through, that you will not actually get done or get going what the people desire. So he's saying too that, importantly, that what is needed is to replace the Constitution. And he has a number of sections in the present Constitution that we can leverage to do this. Do you think we can replace this Constitution outside the process that the National Assembly is going now?
Thank you very much, the chair of the session.
I'll return to you.
The moderator, Your Excellency, the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellency, the Senate President.
Just go ahead.
I want to stand on existing protocol. Now, the President cannot be here, sir, without acknowledging him. So let me start by saying that the question you have raised, and the learned senior advocate has raised a form of volcano. It's not as simple as he has raised the issue. We are talking of the process of constitutional making. And the argument on this matter has been very checkered, because you have to go back and see the process that brought the Constitution itself. And looking at the preamble of the Constitution, we say that we, the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, bequeath this Constitution to govern this country. Now, the essence of governance is to achieve the highest happiness for the highest number, according to Dr. Bingham. And if the essence of the Constitution is to have a form of representative government that will be able to translate it to the people and also make the leaders to be accountable and responsible. If that is the case, the major question we have been asking is whether the 1999 Constitution is an act of the Nigerian people. So the point he is making is that we should go back into that act of constitutional making and ensure that the whole constitutional process is that of
on
the
December
Nigerian
3rd
people
this year,
and is owned by
military
the
drone
Nigerian
dropped
people.
bombs
Now,
on the
there are two
Tudunbiri
approaches to
village
this. The
in
first
the Gabi
approach is
local government
amendments.
area of Kaduna State.
The second
By the time
approach
the
is
smoke
what we call
settled,
complete
the village has paid a
replacement.
heavy penalty,
Now,
as over
looking at
85
where we are
civilians,
presently,
including women and children, have been left
you
dead.
already have a structure, you
The
have
villagers
National Assembly.
had gathered at the praying ground
And
to
I'm
celebrate
happy that
an
we're
Islamic
having this
festival
colloquium because
when the bombs rained
it's not
on
going
them.
to end here. We're still
The
going to go
Nigerian
to the
army
drawing board
was to take responsibility
see
for the airstrike, saying it had been in pursuit
best
of
for
terrorists
Nigerian people.
and bandits who
Now,
had been
you already
operating in
have
the area,
the National
killing
Assembly
people
Section
and
4.
taking
It's very
hostages.
clear. I have the powers
The
to
military
make laws for
hierarchy
Nigeria.
was to clarify that
And
it had received what it thought to be
like
credible
sovereign, in
intelligence
those days,
on the
parliament
movements of
used to be so
bandits
powerful that
before
it
it
can
launched the
turn a man to a
airstrike.
woman, and vice
The
versa.
incident had
And that
dominated
power still
public
vests
discourse
on the
since then,
parliament in
with the
section
military
4.
authorities
Because if you look at
visibly
part 2,
shaken
which deals with
by the
governance,
incident and the public reactions to
the
it.
parliament comes first.
Since
The
that
National
incident,
Assembly comes
the military
first.
hierarchy had
And they are
left
the
nothing to
representative
chance,
of people.
with several
Now,
visits to the
it's
area
going to be very
and condolence
difficult
visits to the
to
authorities.
go back on a complete
In addition to these
constitutional
visits, the military has also taken full responsibility
can be
for the
done.
welfare of those still in
It's
hospital.
a process of getting the people
The
to
Vice
own
President
the
Kashim
Constitution
Shettima,
itself.
the Deputy Senate President
Because if we
Jibril
have
Barau,
a
the
constitution
Speaker
that
of the House of
people do not even
Representatives,
believe in,
and other notable figures
question is,
are
how
among the
do we
growing
make
numbers
the
of people who had visited the
believe in this
victims.
process? So the
The
amendment
Vice President
process
during
can
the
be,
visit, on behalf of President
modified
Tinubu,
in such a
included
way
a
that
package of incentives for the
Nigerian
victims.
people will be carried
But in
along.
spite of all these,
Now, what
there are still
when you talk
calls
of
by
an
interest groups
amendment,
for some
an amendment
punitive
can
measures,
just focus on some sections of the
while a group of lawyers
The National
are
Assembly
heading to
has the
court
power
in a multi-billion-naira
to
lawsuit
substitute
against the
from
government.
section 1 to
There are
the
also
end.
those who have continued
And
to
if we
urge
follow
caution,
the process,
particularly
so
with the
instead of
prompt
going
response
back
of the
and
military
reinventing
authorities
the wheel,
and the show
what
of
I
remorse
believe
over the
is
bombings,
that the
which
National
appears to be
Assembly
purely accidental.
can go on a wholesome substitution.
On Tuesday,
and in
the
process
Arewa
that
Consultative
brings the
Forum,
Nigerian
ACF,
people
called
and
for
ensure
punishment
that
for the
they
military,
are part and-
including
they
the
are part and
transfer
parcel
of the military
of the
chief in the
process
area of
that will
command.
bring the amendment.
On the spot,
So if you are
the Chief
talking
of
a
Defense Staff,
recruitment,
General
it
Christopher
still has to
Musa,
be through the
has
National
continued to
Assembly.
warn
And I'm
against
happy the
actions
Senate
that could
President is
demoralize
there.
the troops in the
And also
fight
Speaker of
to end
the
all forms of
House of
criminality in the
Representatives.
north.
Because
We are
the
turning
powers
our
to make law
searchlight on
belongs
this
to them.
issue as we
And the
examine all the
president of the
angles
federation
and how
is
to prevent
here.
occurrence like
He has a
this.
vision, so he can
Our
only
guest
translate
is
the
Charles
vision
Otenibu,
through
a
the
lawyer
National Assembly.
and a journalist. He is the Director General, Center
Thank
for
you,
Media Law
Mr.
and Development.
Prof.
He joins
And,
us
my
shortly.
apologies
Whatever
to Mr.
group
Fowler. I
is
think
coming
I
up
asked you to wear
and saying
a dress that is not made
whatever
Well,
calculations
let me say that this issue of constitutional
that
amendment
they
of
have
constitutional
imagined
change
in their minds, I can
a
tell
very
you that
serious
it
matter.
is faulty,
In fact, a national challenge.
it is in
But I
error,
want to think that what
and
we have
it
achieved
is
here is that
unpatriotic.
the keynote speaker
I can
had
assure you
proposed
we will make sure that
that
we get more training.
my
But for now, we have
observation is
encouraged
what the
community
National Assembly is doing. It's what the Constitution, it's the process the
to
Constitution
see something and say
prescribed
something.
prescribed
And it will
within
help
itself
us
as how
in
it can be
analyzing
amended.
the threat
But what the
that we see on
speaker
the
is
ground.
saying is that you have a
Our
window
heartfelt
under
condolences
Section 4.1
as a
4.2
force
to explore
over the
other
losses.
approaches that will give people comfort. Because the real issue about the Constitution and what it stands for today is that most people believe that it's not delivering justice. It's not just a matter of ownership.
Right. A very warm welcome to you
the
as we
space
start
for
our
this
discussions
new
today
legislation
on the program.
for the
My name is
National
Benga
Assembly
Aruleba, and of
to
course
take
you
a
already
critical
know
look
what we are
at Section
focusing on
4.1
today, the
and
December
4.2
3
and see the
incident in Kaduna State,
Now,
where
the third one,
a drone attack left
it's an
some
electoral
scores
process.
of
And I agree with the speaker. He
residents
says
in a village,
that,
that's the
look,
Tudunbiri village
the
in
issue of,
Igabi local government area of Kaduna
BVN
State.
didn't
Left
work,
them dead,
is
and
it?
as we speak, there are still scores of
IRAF
others
did not work.
being
Card
treated for
reader did not
various
work.
degrees of
Should not
injuries
be
at two
the
government
concern
hospitals in
of the
Kaduna State.
contestants.
And of course, our guest is
Be
Mr.
the
Charles
concern.
Odenibo. He's a lawyer
He recommended
and a
that,
journalist
we
as
should
well.
adopt
He's a Director General Center for Media, Law and
whereby
Development. You're also
they
a
will look
publisher.
at the petitions, and if it generates
Lecturer,
such
the
an
Media
issue
Today International,
that will
The Media Today
demand
International.
that
and also
the
a
electoral
lecturer
body
of
should explain why
advertising
it did
laws
not
in
work,
Nigeria.
they will now convoke a
teach advertising laws and regulations.
And I think...
Good to have you. And let me also add that you are one journalist that has also kept very close tabs on
that
our
today, much of the
military,
problems that
particularly since
President and
this
others
war
were
on
required to
terror
address
started.
were
You can
not
actually
a
remove it
matter
if it's
can
if
concern
it's
them.
disturbing
And
you a
you'll
little
find
bit.
out that most of
All right.
those situations,
I said you are one journalist who has gone beyond the call of duty to develop interest in how the military is carrying out its operations, not just the war on terror, but in other parts of the country where you have the military deployed as a way of probably, you know, checks and balances as a media practitioner. Let's link that to the incident that has happened. Do you think the military will have deliberately bombed the citizens that is paid to protect?
Thank you very much, Benga. You and I, most of us in the media, we've come a long way. We've seen a lot of things in this country. And we are all faced by what we call terror in Nigeria today. Terror in the sense that no one can predict where something is going to happen next. We are faced by terrorists that see us, know us, live with us. Some are part of our citizens, some are foreigners. We don't know who they are, but they know us. They live in our midst. They monitor us. They know everything. And among our citizens, they have those who run errands for them. They have those who supply guns. They have those who supply women and prostitutes, food, and so on and so forth, living in our midst. So we are faced by terrorists that can unleash mayhem on the society at any time.
Asymmetric.
Yes. Now they are terrorists because it can be a person, a group, or organization that uses violent or threat of violent actions to further their political goals. That is what we are dealing with. Now, I've been privileged over the years to be in the creeks in the Niger Delta. I've gone through the creeks carrying out investigative works. I've been to Zamfara, Benin Kebbi, Zuru, a host of them. I've been to Sokoto, I've been to Maiduguri. I've been in the midst of more than 16,000 surrendered terrorists. I've seen the hardened women among them. I've seen the good, I've seen the bad, I've seen the ugly. It's a great privilege for me to be given the opportunity in this land to carry out this work. And then I teach legal and regulatory issues in investigative journalism. I teach different methods of carrying out investigative reporting to journalists in Nigeria. Now, what happened is we got reports, and the reports have presented what we just summarized now as the situation before us, and the culmination is, was it deliberate on the part of the military, or was it not? Now that is the jigsaw, because if you look at it, now can we fill in this puzzle? Can we solve it? Well, we may try before the program ends, but one thing you cannot take away is that something happened. But what happened brought out different stories depending on the angle or interest of those who are reporting or propagating. So we need to assess the message, the messengers, and their interest. The message, the messenger, and their interest. Because we have different types of messages flying out from this. And the question is, from Center for Media Law and Development, how can we assess the way media reported this incident? Can we look at the positive and minus and allow the public to draw their conclusion, or should we draw conclusions on our own? Now,
has the media misreported what happened?
Relatively, media only reported about 20%. Media didn't. There was no particular media house in Nigeria that visited that location when the incident happened firsthand on its own. Number two, there is no particular media organization that spoke to those who are influencers in that particular community. Number three, most of the media that reported took it from others. And so then the question is, what actually happened? Maulud happened last in September. And then in December, we're talking of Maulud.
It's supposed to be a yearly.
Are you getting it now? Number one.
The last one happened in September.
Yes, it should be September.
That's of this year.
Yes. If
so
you are
there ought
going
not
to
to have been another one.
Even if you want to do another Maulud, the first thing is that place is a flashpoint. It's a security flashpoint.
Well,
and the way the thing happened is that, one, it happened 10 p.m. in the night.
I haven't gotten to
where they gathered.
I think you need to speak on
Two,
this.
they used children.
He said,
three, they did not inform the military or security agencies that they were going to do such a thing. 3 levels that require questioning. The next thing is...
Can you go over it? This is getting interesting.
Yes.
First is that
it happened.
There is need to interrogate the fact that it was a Maulud.
It's a Maulud celebration they are doing.
So there is need to interrogate that.
We need to check.
Because Maulud ought to be a yearly celebration. It's supposed to be the best day of the Prophet, isn't it?
Even if they want to celebrate Maulud, apart from when it was done, I think September, at least let the security agencies know.
That's part of the standard procedure.
That is how it should be, because that is a flashpoint where the terrorists have been operating, going to the tarmac and the rest of them. So if you are going to operate, give them information, because there is patrol going on constantly in that axis. The next thing is, are there only Muslims in that community? No, there are Christians, there are pastors in that same Tudumbiri. Are you following me? So I expected that it should not be given a religious tone. It's because it's a society, a community of different persons, different personalities, and different religions mixed up in that place. It's not just Muslims that live there. So we need to speak to pastors in that community, speak to imams, speak
Nigeria
to schools,
cannot grow,
speak to others, so we'll get the soundbite, the voice of other persons or influencers in that particular community. Now, if you watch it again, the way they carried out that ceremony is exactly the same way that the terrorists operate. The same way. So the semblance is that there is a mixture of genuine people who genuinely wanted to get, as well as terrorists likely that infiltrated them. I use the word likely because in the midst of all of them, we have sympathizers.
Basically, yes, every country
sympathizers for terrorists.
But I
so
don't
there is
honestly
need for
think that the National Assembly will be in a position to make a law
investigation,
warrant or
that
give rise to a credit system. It has come from the
government thing that happened and nothing comes out of it.
What I was trying to drive at basically is that the state governments, which are the subnationals, have a very vital part to play. They have to be able to get their people to work, generate revenue, and in doing that, there'll be peace. Because you see, people who are not employed, if they're not employed, they can't even have access to credit. So I think the issue of credit has to be something that has to be done both at the subnational and then the national level, which the President of the Senate
the military initially did not
cater
pick
to
up
at a future
immediately.
time.
Yes. So because it was bombing, accusing fingers, of course, automatically pointed in the direction of the Nigerian Air Force. And the Nigerian Air Force instantly denied any such taking part in any such thing or authorizing any military airstrike and all of that. First, the two reactions, which is one didn't react, that's the military that carried it out, didn't say the army didn't say immediately that, oh, we carried out so sorties in so place, like as it usually does. And then the Air Force that was wrongly accused probably denied that, no, it wasn't me. As if to say, look at my neighbor, it is not me. Let's string these two together. Did it paint a good picture, right?
It did not paint a good picture, because if you watch over in the last 2-3 years, what has happened in defense for him, Nigerian military is synergy. Synergy in the sense that the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Air Force, and the Nigerian Navy work in a very coordinated manner. They never ever deny one another. They support one another. And don't forget that
thank you very much, the chairman of the occasion.
3 different parts.
We will allow the chairman, who also acted as moderator,
it has to be one voice.
speaker,
so when
and all
you
the
have
discussants,
a cacophony of voices,
to take a quick picture here together, and
why
then
will one arm deny?
Well, thank you as you exit back to your seats. Thank you very much. Please, another round of applause for that. I think that was a wonderful.
It's not supposed to be so.
We had time constraint, and I think this should be developed in the future
yes. The
to a full
seminar.
It's all of you. It is the same
of the Nigerian people
so why did
who
that
need
happen?
to hear most of what was discussed today.
I think that what happened there was that.
Thank you very much.
Media
you can please exit the stage. Thank you very much.
The spokespersons of each of them responded at different times.
Thank you.
Ordinarily, they should have handed over the reaction to defense headquarters and not the Air Force or Army or Navy, because everybody is calling Nigerian military.
Thank
Now
you very
it has
much.
crystallized that it was the Army. Now, are we going to chop off Army from the military
so Your Excellency
apparatus? No.
Ladies and
Can Air Force person say because the Army, they won't relate anymore? You all go together. You provide the aerial attack so that the ground force can move in. Now we are in a situation where the Army discovered that the pattern of what was happening at 10 p.m. was the pattern of the terrorists.
Actually said they had been in pursuit of terrorists in that area up to that point where they saw people gathered.
But one of the things that people
Thank you very much. So
the Army said
they are correct. Now the question is, when the drone was released,
challenge
and
easy
it hit target,
solid at steel.
There's no doubt that it hit what? Target. And we had collateral damages, serious damages. Honestly, I sympathize with all those that were affected.
Please join me as I welcome here,
those who died
in a very uncommon way, please welcome here the Senior Senator.
They succeeded in hitting the target with drone, which is okay. Now that it has happened, and they have taken the blame that it was a mistake, what are we supposed to do? Do you still need to set up a panel to investigate? That is already the person have said, we committed it.
And this was what we
and this is the reason why we did it. So the matter is clear to everybody. Now, moving forward, are we going into damage control? Or are we going to go back into the blame game? Or are we going to give the fifth columnist opportunity to seek relevance and importance and begin to milk the government of scarce state administrative resources? Which one are we going to pursue now that we are clear that it's Army that perpetrated this type of mistake?
If this is a military operation,
yes.
I was telling somebody
the line that
I ran around the stadium.
We are trying to do officially.
That even at 61,
is he
I'm still
capable of leading to some unintended consequences?
So,
because if like you said,
yes,
the military is an umbrella.
It is one body.
And one of the components is the Army. Yes. And the Army has said, we carried out this operation, a furtherance of our military operation.
Yes.
If you begin to then dig deep, and to then begin to look for individuals to punish for what was supposed to be an operation by the military.
This is where you and I
if you are going to measure punishment,
no, is that not what is likely to happen?
So I thank them.
Because when you are saying you are investigating, then you are going to be calling, okay, who authorized the operation, who are the direct officers that were involved, and all of that. And that will signal the intention that you are looking for individuals.
Solution.
Individuals.
Yes.
So first of all, pin the blame
responsibility
on
yes,
and then punish
for
that. what would
From
likely
January
be the
1
implication
to
of that?
31st of
The
December.
implication is
I
that
must
it
have
will
been born in one of
demoralize
those days
and
in between.
demotivate the people. Because that
So that's why I
axis
don't normally
is a
celebrate
terrorist
birthdays.
axis. And
More
it
like
means
the axis of evil in that
going to
area, because
Yes.
it's from there too that they also move
very
down
well
south
known
to
in
Niger, to Niger State.
Thank you very much.
To Abuja Kaduna Express Road and all of that.
They have been operating in that axis free for all. It's their reigning swoop. They have the whole place to themselves. And it has been a serious battleground for the Nigerian military. Now, even if there is going to be a panel of inquiry and the commander or the military leader that was responsible for that operation is interrogated, and those who released the drone, those in charge of drones, are picked up, they will explain what actually happened. But what I am telling you is that the people who went for that
goes to a lot of explanations.
Should have informed the Nigerian
because
military
he pointed out
that they want
that nobody
to
should ask you a question
so thing
as to how you won
involve
the election.
all the necessary security agencies that this is what we want to do. Now, doing it at 10 p.m. in the night when it is dangerous and terrorists are on the move, puts a big question mark on the whole event that took place on that day. So when we come to blaming, it means that if the person that was in charge of the drone and the commander leading that particular group are invited and they say their own position, until they tell us their own position, we cannot say let them be punished or let them be let go. Some people are saying the commander in charge of that place should be redeployed.
That's the position that the Arewa Consultative Forum pushed 2 days ago.
Yes, the Arewa Consultative Forum, in my own opinion, should not take that kind of position when it does not have adequate information at its disposal.
And Lagos is your base.
There are collateral,
like Mr. Fowler was trying to explain.
Religious connotation
already that is it. That's what I'm telling you, that their interest is religious, and it is about the north. We must come to a point in this country where we will all agree that this is not about Arewa, this is not about Yoruba, this is not about Igbo, this is not about Niger Delta, Ijo, or anything. No, this is about the collective destiny of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But as long as we keep using divisive approach, the unintended consequence of Arewa Consultative Forum is that it will further tear the country apart.
For Nigeria.
And what they should be doing is to use conflict-sensitive communication maturely with the intended message clearly delivered in such a way that we protect Nigeria as a nation and collectively destroy these terrorists and have peace in this country.
Let's put that statement by the Arewa Consultative Forum side by side with that of the Anglican Bishop of Musasa Diocese, Zaria, Most Reverend Buba Ali Lamido, who urged caution and insisted that
we will win
any
all the
attempt
federal
to
house
put a religious tag on the incident
and we won the 3 Senate seats in Ebonyi State, and they said that they
also condemned attempts by some religious leaders to portray the incident as an agenda targeting Muslims.
National chairman of the party.
Well, you can see now that influencers are emerging.
We also won
Arewa
the 3 Senate seats in Ebonyi State, but in the final count for you, they said you didn't get 25%. So how did we win all those seats?
The media,
and they gave out 300
influencer.
So votes
the question now is,
Party, even though
who is right and who is wrong?
So
I will not align with any of them. I will only go by
the
rules of engagement.
My mind was saying
I will also consider the laws
that
have been violated in
must
Nigeria.
go back to discuss
I will then look at
I hope
the decisions that were taken that culminated in the disaster that happened in that place. And then we need to go back and check that community. Is it only Muslims that live there?
Like a written paper to
or do we have
because
Christians and churches in that place?
The mind of
now, Have we seen families that came out and say our own person was involved with adequate data? So we need data to be able to arrive at concrete decisions. Because we cannot play to the gallery with Arewa Consultative Forum. Neither can we play to the gallery by what the bishop of the Anglican Diocese in Zaria have said. And then we have big question mark on the way the media has reported the matter. So we are at the mercy of different types of interests, but at the end of the day, is Nigeria benefiting from it? Who is the loser?
The person who won the election
Federal
to the person who conducted
of
the election.
Nigeria.
There are things we need to interrogate here, particularly
because
what seems to be
in spite of
the
all
new configuration
your
of
losses,
of fighting,
in spite of the fact that
troops,
you won
fighting
State hands down
since this war on terror started, which is that the fact that
they gave you 15%.
to a lot of people, the fact that the army,
in spite of all your efforts to turn around the economy of the Southwest, particularly Lagos,
they
said
air combat
in the general election,
it's also a mystery to some
conducted
people
the same day that you did not win Lagos.
When did the Nigerian army acquire this capability?
I think that has worried a lot of
for the
legal
fact
minds,
that these are
that they must explain
ended
to
the
you
way it has ended,
whether somebody was intentionally
if
cheating from
terrorists
becoming
had
president
gathered
of Nigeria,
where they gathered,
but God did not allow it.
At that incident,
yes,
and the military had scored what appeared to be a bullseye.
Yes,
it will appear
Deputy Senate President, my brother,
for the Nigerian army. So those capacities that we have been able to acquire in this
leaders of the National Assembly,
these are things that we also need to explain to
them.
Yes, you find that one.
And sorry,
go ahead.
I was going to also link
from the area of Kano.
Is this, does the attitude of the Air Force initially,
and even to
this
the
kind
other
of wash your hands off the incident, the denier, does he not connote a kind of resentment to the army trying to
this discussion and I think
make
from here is for us to go and
into areas that were exclusively believed to be for the Nigerian Air Force, for instance?
I understand.
Sir,
you find that in Nigeria,
I had a paper to deliver.
Apart from the Nigerian military, even in the federal government, state governments, you will notice that we have interagency rivalry. Ministries fight against ministries. Agencies under ministries fight against one another. Because the Nigerian police fight against another agency of government.
61.
So
who should remember
over
more?
time, the culture of interagency rivalry has been there in our
So I'm the one
civility.
that I should remember more.
Now the question is,
National Security Advisor.
for what the Air
I'm the
Force
president, you know, I ran around the stadium.
denying
the
someone
stadium,
because they felt that
people
this
started
particular
calling me and
job
saying,
is supposed to be
planning
their
to be
own.
president? I said,
The deployment of drones
do you issue intention to be president by running around the stadium?
the purview of Air Force alone. Don't forget that even AIT can use drones for outdoor and other things. You can use drones. And the drones also have cameras, don't forget.
Mr. President, the Emir of Azara,
can give you any satellite.
my brother, who himself
so at the
is
end
a
of the
surgeon,
day, the usage
he was
of
there,
drones
and
is
he was
not
quarreling with somebody in
limited
front of
to
my house. And
Nigerian
I asked him,
Air
I said,
Force.
look at this person.
Nigerian Navy
He's saying
uses
that
drone.
the crowd was
Nigerian
too
Air
much.
Force
It looks
uses
like,
drone. Nigerian
presidential
Army is
election.
using
So,
drone.
the
Police
presidential
has
campaign.
drone. DSS has
you
drones.
don't need to quarrel.
So it is something that you use aerially to reduce the extent of damage you may sustain when you deploy human
and that is the
personnel
way
to certain areas.
anywhere you go to,
so the gap
Nigerians will
between
rush.
Nigerian Air
They will
Force
try to touch your
and
group.
the
Because that
defense
is the same way they are
headquarters
respected in Lagos
is something
and
that
globally.
needs to be
The very first day that you
addressed,
took
so
your
that
steps
in future,
into ECOWAS,
regardless
in spite of the
of
fact
whether
that the Anglophone
Nigerian
countries are
Army
few,
is using helicopter or
and
using
then the
any,
Francophone countries
particular
more,
aircraft
they
to
collectively
work,
ask the
it
question. Some
does
of them were
not
asking in
mean that
French.
they have
Mr.
encroached
Tinubu,
into the
Asiwaju,
mandate of the Nigerian Air Force. No. What
and
they need to
many
do
of them
is
said,
to go back to their own internal
he is the one.
housekeeping and
They said, then
address
if
it
he's the
within
one,
themselves.
let him be chairman
Then
of
come
ECOWAS.
out and speak
We need
with
change
one
in West Africa.
voice.
And you,
that
and you were
one voice
confused. You
should
became
come from
chairman.
defense
So I want to start by congratulating you for that.
And not the Nigerian
That you will take
Air
bold
Force
decisions
or
to change
Army or
Nigeria.
Navy.
There is no doubt about
That
that.
is where we found ourselves
That the
in this
National Assembly
quagmire at
is
this
behind
particular
you.
moment.
There is no doubt about
Therefore,
that.
when the Nigerian Army was
let me be
in
honest
pursuit
with you, sir.
of this bandit,
You are the first
according to them,
president under democracy
it had gotten to a point
step
where
there and signify
you
your,
needed to launch
your
maybe
interest
area attack.
and say, look, I believe
Why
this
was
man
it
is
difficult
capable
to
of doing
bring
that
in
job.
the Nigerian Air Force at that time,
His
even
Excellency
if for the purposes of keeping them in the know that
and people,
this is what we have been on to since morning. We have tracked these
but the main
people
that
up
was
to
you
this place.
who also said, I support.
Our surveillance
And
camera
the party
is
said,
on
I
them.
support. They said, no, we must oppose this
Can
man.
you join us?
Beautiful question.
But eventually,
you will see that in the face
and so
of
I won.
Split
and I ran straight to your office. It is not that the National Assembly is going to be an appendage of the executive. No.
To start doing that.
It is the fact that he is the first president to get
that split the second
and
decision.
he got it right in Lagos because they brought the best brains to
but
work
then
with him.
that does not vitiate the fact that
and
they
that is what Nigeria needs.
Carry the
right people who can think
along.
I thank
now,
my brother.
This issue you have raised
he talked
is
about
part
the
of
Federal
what
Inland Revenue
the
Service.
defense headquarters
And he said he spoke to his brother.
ought to investigate.
He's talking about
between when you were moving and when you released the drone.
And we cleared.
Did you
the Senate.
carry the Nigerian Air Force along?
It's going
very,
to
very. I think that
on the
is
reformation
where
we are talking about
find
in
out
the revenue sector in this country.
The
we
criminal responsibility is going to manifest because who is liable at this point is Nigeria Army.
As to the integrity
but
of your national
for them to
security
do what they did they involve the Nigerian Air Force? Big
even when he was
mark.
chairman of
And so, like we mentioned earlier,
so
the commander in
here,
charge, the person that released the drone, those that took that decision,
is evidence of the fact that
yes, indeed,
you are also
to
getting
explain themselves. Then defense headquarters will now
that
tell Nigerian public
rushing.
Truly we were sorry, but we have been able to find out
you in Saudi Arabia ended up in my office,
and we pray
I told them that I'm small P.
Such things will not happen.
You got me small P. I'm not president of Nigeria.
He's
there in the villa. They said we can't get to him. We are bringing 5.something billion. I said no, it's too much. Dollars.
Learn useful lessons.
I said I'll
from
take you
this
to him.
incident, not a kind
so
of
I'll bring many of them to you.
Oh, this
I just want Nigeria to know
who actually
that the renewed hope agenda is real.
The drone. This is the person
the
who
renewed
gave
hope
the
agenda
voice
is real.
command for this person to release the drone.
Where we are today was not caused by the present administration.
What useful lessons do we learn?
We are talking about years of rot.
The promptness
and misdirection
of almost all governmental agencies across board has been something.
People are not aware of the quantum debt that you inherited,
and the military
the deep hole that you inherited, very to see how you can do your best to fill it up to a level where you now start achieving something.
Suggest that truly this was an error.
Trillions and trillions of debt.
Highly regretted, but we can address.
I'll give you only one example of a parasite.
Okay, so as we go on break, we'll give you some sites and sounds of what has happened since this incident happened in Tundumbiri.
Abandoned 1,400 and something projects.
Governmental
this one will start and stop. This one will start and stop. This one will start and stop. So when he mentioned that Nigeria has about 1,600 abandoned projects, it means 1,400 are in the
will be taken care of under the canopy of the Polaco initiative.
Indebtedness. They are owing 1.9 trillion
the best community
to contractors. So when people bring papers and say, "Oh, I've not been able to get my money in 11 years," I say, "How much?" They said, "I'm being owed 2 billion." I said, "It is actually 1 trillion."
Eradicating banditry and armed kidnapping.
Nobody will remember you. It's too small. My uncle warned me. I said, "God, somebody slaps you while going to secondary school in Port Harcourt. Slap the person back, don't leave it for God. Because on that day when we get to heaven, there will be so many things for God to judge that he may forget that somebody actually slapped you."
It's already directed by Mr. President, and investigation is being conducted.
Should know that Nigeria is in such the indebtedness in Nigeria is such that if you have been owed a small amount, don't go to the president, don't come to me. Because we have enough debt to think of. So because of that, I became a tough boy. So if you slap me, I slap you back because my uncle said, "Don't leave it for God." Because I don't want that part to be forgotten when we get to paradise. So I want to thank the organizers for this
a befitting police outpost.
Of course, intended to reject
community. There are access roads that will be provided.
The memories of what,
and all this is put to the tune of 400 million naira from the Federal House of Representatives.
The centerpiece of our legislative agenda,
also make our own
which my brother, the Speaker of the House,
that
launched the other day, is nothing but people-centered.
our salaries for
How
the
has
month
you
of
think
December,
of the people
so as
of
to
that
certainly
gave
some
us
of
this
our
enormous responsibility
109
and such
million,
a rare privilege
so that
for us to look into
it
the
can
affairs.
help to bring
I
some
come
support
from
to those
a
affected.
traditional
I will
institution.
also urge the members of the National
When
Assembly
the white people
to
came
look at
and
the
they could not
laws
find evidence
that
and
have to do
others
with security
in the southeast,
so that they can
combine them
strengthen those
with
institutions.
south-south. They
Here
picked
in
strong
Kaduna, we will
people
continue
who were
to support
administering
all
their
the security
localities well.
agencies in Nigeria
And my grandfather,
to continue to work,
the father of my
to
father,
protect the
Okuku
properties
Dogwami,
and lives of our
was
people.
installed a warrant chief in Nigeria. He made sure that his domain, though he had these people wearing khaki up and down and all that, he had like a court. He used to sit in what they call NA, Native Authority.
The
very
personalities
well,
that have visited Tudunbiri since
even
this
if a
incident
good
happened, Vice
straight from
President
somebody's
Kashim Shettima
they would
spoke
take
on
the
behalf of
goods
the federal
back to him in the evening.
I mean, he has given us something to
drum around
be at least a little bit comfortable with. The investigation that the president has ordered is with a view to preventing a recurrence of this issue. Not probably to point accusing fingers.
No. Pointing accusing fingers is dangerous. Because when you are in the war front, when you are in the battle front,
in a war that is so asymmetric,
thank you.
We have
yes, and it is about Nigerians who are terrorists.
The question is that
fighting against the Nigerian state and Nigerian people and Nigerian military. A military that is already overstretched in the 36 states of the Federation.
So the degeneration
and the FCT.
of the ethos of the society is probably what led us to where we are today.
And don't
but
forget,
let's not talk much about corruption.
Is out to
in 1959, even when the colonial masters created Nigeria, the handing over note included the fact that one of the problems of Nigeria was corruption. In 1959, before independence,
they take it away from you, and there is nothing.
In 1959,
do. A bandit is
so
like
if somebody comes and talk and says that
a woman's dignity
government
without
is not doing the right thing, government is corrupt. No, it started before independence.
And scare of controversies like this against the state.
Exactly. So now we are discussing, and they are drinking and dancing wherever they are at the end of the day. Can they be annihilated completely?
You know,
if ordinarily it is not because it's asymmetrical, the military will have gone there.
We will not
and bombarded everybody and kill everybody in that society. The military have not done that. You remember what happened in Zakibiam some time ago.
That we should
recall what happened in Odi at a particular point in time. Recall instances where pockets of things like this have happened.
That we should try to involve our traditionalists.
And it was also public outcry. And at the end of the day, people went back.
We give so much respect to them.
Business,
but we have not given them any
in this instance now, we have a government that is saying, look, we want to be proactive. We don't want to be reactive. Now, the military also is also considering
most of the colonial laws
and not reactive.
In existence.
So we have come to a point where everybody have to be what? Proactive. The media has to be proactive. Even if the media have to be setting agenda constantly, because sometimes I think that they have left the media behind.
We will be working on those things.
The media has been left behind. So we need a media that is more vibrant, a media that is well paid, a media that is well insured. We have insurance companies that come and say, look, we are partnering with media houses, we are partnering with journalists, we want to do your insurance with your organizations. Do you understand me? The insurance industry has to come into this. You cannot be chasing government agencies for money alone. Come and insure the journalists. Come and insure the editors. Come and insure the media houses. Then it helps us to do our work out there. And then everybody, all you give media is just Peters, as if you are doing the media a favor.
That a child of rape should not allow the circumstances of his or her birth to mar her.
If we had good media houses that
should not allow the circumstances of his or her birth to mar her
and are also embedded in the military operations.
I have always tried to
asking these questions.
It's the fact of true.
The positive side is that Tudunbiri will probably not be the same again. In terms of what is attracting to itself now, House of Reps, said it's senators who said they have donated their 1 month salary, 1 million per senator, coming to 109 million. That's from the Senate. The House is talking about other package that includes construction of roads, construction of schools, and all of that. I mean, I heard the spokesperson there talking about 400 million naira for Tudumbiri alone. And of course, Governor Basani also saying something about the need to also
the aspect of bringing.
I assume that this Tudumbiri was a community that never had good access roads, probably no electricity, nothing like that. It's not going to be the same for that community. Good. But then it's something to achieve.
They felt that most of the senior advocates of Nigeria are flying around Nigeria in their private jets.
Soccer to bring
that they choose to go into money making
and register Tudumbiri on the global
market. The whole world knows Tudumbiri now, and we know that foreigners will start coming.
How will somebody who is flying in the private jet come now to come and collect salary
and go and find out what it is exactly?
The problem of corruption.
The Nigerian media should not wait
so I
for
don't
foreign media
to take it away.
To come and
that even to fuel the private jet,
and I will
to fly around after you have been appointed,
to create funds
that it may be a problem.
Enable our journalists, our media houses, engage in
we shall discuss that at the
investigative journalism.
Assembly. Mr. Speaker,
they must be willing to put
so
money down. I didn't hear the House of Reps members or the Senate saying that they want to help media to be able to do better reportage in this country.
$1 million,
most of the things that they designed, the communication component is always missing. They vote money for a lot of projects, they vote money for a lot of palliative, but the communication component is always not provided for in anything that concerns the country.
Then you now come into the judiciary,
end product.
And then you realize that
is what is missing.
So when people don't see the end product,
something
it is money not
maybe $1 million
completely. So now who is going to track what the House of Reps is saying they are going to do? Who will track it? Who will monitor it? Who will report it? Who will evaluate it? It is still the same media that they will call upon. The next thing is, when are they going to start this thing that they said they want to do? When is the Senate going to donate this 109 million? Who will Senate hand over the money to? Who will disburse the money? What is the data of those that actually lost their lives? We have children, we have women, we have men. So we need to know who and who. Do we have a data, a list of those that were affected? Now in the hospital, how many people are in the hospital?
But he mentioned something interesting, devolution of powers.
How many are men? How many are women?
There is need for us to look at the constitution,
gather this data,
and the
who will
force of
supply
powers to the states.
At the end of the day? How do we know
also believe,
when
I believe
the Senate
that there is need for us to unbundle the federal government.
How do we know? At the end of the day, we will just do the matter dies and we move to another.
We are more or less duplicating functions.
And it looks as if
the director generals and assembly secretaries or certain parastatals who are far more important than the minister. In fact, if you go to function, people talk to the person. Okay, just compare me, Senate President, with my brother, Kyari.
That's the way to go. That the military has not washed his hands off.
NNPC now.
You cannot say, we don't have, that's not part of our budget, we don't have budget for that. It's good that the military has taken full responsibility.
No, if we step out together, it's here. I'm sure it's
we
here.
have a defense headquarters.
But you know, if we step out there, okay, we met
that feels the pain.
At the ground floor reception
when some military men were attacked in Niger
before
State.
Mr. President came. You notice that over 7 people rushed
the
to
one
talk
where
to
they shot down the aircraft.
They killed so many of them.
Yeah.
Even if I was the minister
you can
of petroleum, not Senate President, nobody will come near me because they've seen the man who is running a very lucrative.
Many Nigerians wept, and the way we are talking
we will unbundle those things and see whether the ministers can begin to have authority.
Nigeria. So we have
most of the problems they are going to have as presidents
that
in the governance structure,
will
be how to give respect to your ministers.
Is the word that it wants
some of them
to
will
reach
push
out
them aside
and solve problems.
Into the gutter to
it's
run
not
to
just
the
about
civil secretary of the other
It's Nigerians fighting against Nigerians,
who is
it's not Nigerians fighting foreigners. It's our own people
who have just chosen to be who they are.
That is all. So imagine you killing your own brother, killing your own sister, and your own brother and sister have taken up arms to fight against their own brothers and sisters. I think that our communication should be tailored in such a way that we build
was one for
patriotism.
Rizzo in 1964.
We address citizenship
They said, let's go for election.
in Nigeria and
a
not Northern
because
Muslim,
Francophone
Northern
countries
Christian, Middle
how
Belt.
can you talk to somebody,
All these
how can you
things are
campaign
going to
with somebody
further
who does not understand
separate
your
us. It's
language?
going
Are
to
you going to use
put
language?
wedges between us. There is no
So
way
I said, okay,
somebody
who is your candidate?
from
They brought the speaker
the north
of,
that
Cote
is
d'Ivoire.
a Muslim
So I invited
will
him
be
aside.
comfortable in the midst
said,
of Christians.
as a
There's
speaker,
no
I
way
don't know what your
somebody that
ambitions
is
in
a
future
Christian will
But
be
if you intend to
comfortable
come back
in the
to this
midst of
position,
Christians.
if you
Our
contest against
communication
me,
should be
Alassane
designed
Ouattara will
in
be
such
when
a
we
way
get
that we
back
are
there.
very sensitive
And he said, why?
to
I
these
clicked, I
things
showed
that
him the
divide
picture
us, and
of
we
the man
communicate
wearing my
in such a
uniform.
way that we
When
build citizenship,
when I commissioned the
nationalism,
International Stadium,
patriotism,
I don't
development
name
in the interest
Nest
of
Champions, GODSWILL
everybody.
International
That
Stadium.
axis
He was there,
people
along
drive
with
and
other
pass it,
presidents.
whether
They
you
were
are
by the
Igbo,
authority of
Yoruba,
ECOWAS.
Hausa, any
Then
tribe
the
you are,
president
people
of, the
travel
chairman of
on
ECOWAS
that
was
route.
the president of
People
Ghana.
carry goods,
So I said,
people
look at
carry
him here,
farm
look at me.
produce,
We are
and a
wearing
lot
the
of
same
things,
uniform.
and drive
I
through
sent
all
people to
these
Cote d'Ivoire
axes.
to measure him.
They face
And he
dangers
came. And
day
so
in,
I
day
need
out.
only a phone
And the
call
terrorists will
to
not
let
ask
him know
you,
that
are you
your
Muslim
speaker
or are
is
you
insulting
Christian?
me.
They just attack. On Kaduna Abuja
So
expressway,
phone him
they
first.
strike, they
And then you find out
kidnap,
whether
they
you
kill
need to
everybody.
contest
So
against me
I
for the
think we
position.
should go beyond this
The next day,
primordial
he came, he met the speaker
religious
of, Ghana.
sentiment.
We had breakfast, all
Yeah,
of
they are
us.
killing our people.
No. These are citizens of Nigeria. And the media must focus on citizenship. The media must be
So,
reporting
Mr. President, I told him, I said,
we must not allow
don't tell the
politicians
rest
to
that you have
divide
withdrawn.
us.
Because they will
must not
sponsor
use
another
the
person
language
against
of
me.
politicians to pollute the environment. The politicians are polluting
when we went
the politics.
to the
That's what I would say. The politicians pollute the politics.
All right, let's end on the note of what we have learned and all of that, because over time, Nigerians have been worried that, we are spending so much on military and security issues. Even in the 2024 budget, you can see defense taking the lion's share and all of that. But perhaps the fact that Nigerians are learning now that in our military warfare, we now speak of using drones to attack, and we can actually get it right. And I'm sure apart from these drones, there are maybe some other new things that our military do.
So he was the man who initiated the University of
regime of looking after the requirements of the modern-day military is bringing to the
So we had a problem.
Because we are close to them, you should
the Nigerian soldiers who came believed that we were Biafrans. And in spite of the love we tried to show to them, they did not believe us. They said you couldn't have been serving
playing politics over time with the lives and properties of Nigerians. That is what got us to the mess where we are.
The Biafran soldiers came.
Me and my Fulani friends, we play, we eat together. Till today, I went to school in Funtua.
Nigerian soldiers are taking over.
And my 98% of my childhood friends till today.
And then our houses were bombed.
Unfortunately,
my father had died.
I was born and brought up in Zaria.
When I was 6 months old.
By the depot. So
and
I grew up in the military environment from childhood.
Because a strong boy born into the
I do sports with the military in the depots there in Zaria.
So my school father, Olaolu,
coming to the issue of budget,
introduced his father to me when I was in
it
class 2.
looks as if defense has the largest share.
Play back.
But when you go back to track the last 5 years' budget, you will notice that they did not disburse up to 60% to the Nigerian military. And the cost of keeping one Air Force personnel runs into...
So while I was crying, the senior prefect came and said, what did you do?
How much it
I said that
one Air Force man, one Army, one Navy,
and
it is expensive.
I said, yes,
now you now come to different types of
my mother says, anybody
we
that
don't
is very
produce
strong,
some of them here.
And the day is born, that's the day that God calls
dollars, not in naira,
to heaven.
To buy different types of bullets. You need grenades, you need armor tanks.
He said, you know that the vice
technology,
has a father.
Drones,
I said, he can't.
You need
the vice principal is good.
Why won't
his father is alive? He said, yes. So when they realized my foolishness,
the question is,
they now told me to stand up.
Ministry of Finance
they tried to explain to me that even the principal of the college, who was a white man, Mr. Kerr,
I don't think in the last 5 years, go and check it, and I dare the Federal Ministry of Finance or CBN to come out and control what I'm saying. That in the last 5 years, on a year-by-year basis, that the military Nigerian...
And you told me mine died because I was a strong person who will come and look after the family.
I dare them to come out
and in spite of that, the fact that we have a military, a Nigerian army that is capable of deploying
if strength was imbued into you from birth, automatically
it is a plus. The technology is high. Now the
so that even though they are not getting what they ought to get,
when they press me down,
what they
I
are
struggle
getting,
to start
they are using it wisely.
Because already I learned to fend for myself, and the people around me from birth.
You have to provide.
So how did I then come around
to celebrating? To sleep. You have to provide medical facilities for them. Don't forget they have children they left behind. They have wives and families they left behind. Who is taking care of those people? We have barracks. Now, how long does it take to prepare one military man, whether Air Force, Navy, or Army, for them to be integrated into the system? Do we still have enough time to send them for training in Army Depot in Zaria? Do we still have enough time to send them for training at different levels? Do they have enough time to do sports? Because one of the things that the military need to do is exercise.
I finished the primary school today, and I tried to go to secondary school. My uncle had built a secondary school called Independence High School. After I finished as a minister,
you put them in different road checkpoints.
I felt I had a right to walk in there.
Performing civilian duties, civilian duties.
Everything is turning. Yeah, you release money, but they can't do a lot of things. So we need to give kudos to the Nigerian military, and we also give you kudos too for providing this type of platform.
They wanted me to pay 10 naira
will be ventilated.
To be a student.
And also people who want to take me.
Unfortunately,
on some of
my mother had others.
But then I'll be waiting for them at the appropriate time.
And the earlier we
ended up in the bush,
the better for the military. So that
to
the
watch the weather.
Actually put this
once the sunlight came, I will now carry football.
Because
and go from house to house to look for people to play the football.
Vast areas of
and then
North
when I go to somebody, I found out that the school had not actually closed. That some came
are recovered.
Exactly.
Farmers are able to return to their farms.
Exactly.
I mean, we are talking
so
of
for that child
farming
to have
now.
grown,
We're already facing the possibility
I think it was
a very bleak dry season farming period, because farmers are not able to go to the farm and all of it. The earlier we put this behind us,
I'm disclosing, and the military is the one that can help
that can do it.
You can't deploy
managing director in a telecom company.
You can't deploy vigilante or hunters.
Many years, governor,
kudos to our Nigerian military,
senator,
and kudos to
minister, all those things. You thought I was born with a silver spoon in my hand. I was actually born with a shovel in my hand.
Army chief and air chief. Kudos to all of you. We reach out
so
to you
I am very delighted and grateful that you are all here to honor a child that came with a shovel and not with a silver spoon.
All right. I wish we had more time
and I
to be able to celebrate our military
that the presence of the president today is an indication that it belongs to the people.
Also make them.
My people normally celebrate me because I'm part and parcel of them.
Particularly sending messages to their
families.
Exactly.
I know their
problems.
We'll
be able to do that.
And when I was a governor, I addressed those problems.
Chief of Defense Staff, sent to the army and sent to Lagbaja them too. Not Lagbaja musicians.
Okay.
Lagbaja army.
Lagbaja means somebody.
Not Chief of Army Staff.
Not anybody in particular. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. All right, Mr. Charles Odenibo is a lawyer, he's a journalist,
they will ask
a very good colleague.
When are you going home?
Doing so much.
I'm thinking of this weekend.
We feel encouraged by what he's doing with this focus on military, making them accountable and all of that. He has joined us as we look at the Tudunbiri incident and the useful lessons from all of it, for all of us, not just for the military, but for us civilians as well, and especially us as media practitioners. Thank you once again. Thank you for investing your time with us. I say very big thank you to you for that. And on behalf of all of us,
then somebody will actually tell me that you have only one driver, and he needs a driver for the wife because the wife has just got a job with the All-State Trust Bank. So if you are coming back, bring me Akpan. So for them, Ekaite was a housemaid. Akpan was the driver. And some will even look at me and say, why are you a lawyer? You would have been very good as a cook. Your people cook so well. So I realized that the difference between the driver and the car seat owner was education. So when I became governor, I declared free and compulsory education for my people. I built additional university. I went to Ikare. Those who knew Ikare was the first experimental local government in West Africa. I brought down the prison, the walls of the prison. It had been there for 108 years. Where in that place today, I took my senators there for retreat. They don't know why. There we have 14-story Sheraton hotel now run by Marriott. They enjoyed themselves. They said, this place is beautiful. There's no difference between here and Lagos. I said, yes, because I did not like that prison mentality. I had to liberate my people. Over 6,000 classroom blocks. And because I saw a flyover in Lagos, I built flyovers in my state so that my people will also see flyovers. I used for 2 years, I was running to Owerri, running to Port Harcourt to cash flight. And I saw the number of people died on the road while struggling to get to Calabar. So I said there was need for an airport in AKPABIO. And I built the longest airstrip, 3.6 kilometers expandable to 4.2. And by the way, sir, I made sure that it was totally compliant with international standard so that the best planes can land there even by 1 a.m., 2 a.m. We use it to carry pilgrims to Mecca from there, and we use it to carry pilgrims to Jerusalem when there was no war. The state. Physically, I changed the mental psyche of my people. And I told them, begin to think like managers of the economy and not those who clean the crumbs after every meal in people's houses. And the story is different today. So, Mr. President, as we embark on this journey, I must collectively pray for you that what you are used to doing should come to play. I have no doubt with the policies you've already started that Almighty Allah will guide you. Your election had nothing to do with religion. It had nothing to do with party. We're electing Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the man that has a track record of governance, the man that has done it before, and the man that we believe will do it. We are not mindful of the fact that there is insecurity in the land, but we know that you will do it. You made men. You've turned boys into men. Many of the presidents that ran this country, you were instrumental. You fought for us under Nadeko because you wanted Nigerians to be liberated. You believe in true democracy. You are a legislator. You know the yearnings and aspirations of the poor. 185 years ago, it took the United States of America 185 years of practicing democracy before they could have a senator and as president and a senator as vice president. That was Senator Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson. 185 years. Look at us. In less than 30 years, we are already celebrating a president as a senator, a vice president as a senator. Mr. Speaker, do you have any doubt that Nigeria will change? Do you have any doubt? Everything said here, and what I had in my paper, which I'm no longer going to deliver, I assure you, we will join you to reform Nigeria. We didn't come here for a boxing bout. That's not what brought me to Abuja. What brought me to Abuja was transformational leadership. We will transform the laws of Nigeria. We'll reform those things that we can reform for Nigeria to work. If we need to tinker more with the Constitution, we'll do so. Because by the time we are through due process, and we collect what we have been able to, to change in the Constitution, then we'll now have the People's Constitution. Because through our lawmaking, before we can change or alter any aspect of the Constitution, we must have public hearing to get the views of Nigerians, the aspirations of Nigerians. And that is my promise to all of you. And then we are not going to have that parliament. When I say that parliament, I mean both the National Assembly, the House of Reps, and the Senate, where myself and Tajuddin happen to be in charge with our dear colleagues. Very privileged, and I thank all of you. I'm sure when you elected me and my brother Tajuddin, you had expectations. We'll go above your expectations. That is the assurance I can give you. So thank you, Mr. President, for sparing the time to listen to me. And thank you, Nigerians, for going to have patience for the President to do his best in the circumstances he has made himself. It is not that he's meeting Nigeria at 2.5 million barrels of crude oil a day. It's not meeting Nigeria when crude oil is $140 per barrel. It's not meeting Nigeria when the indebtedness is 5 trillion or 6 trillion. It's meeting Nigeria when indebtedness is over 48 trillion. It's meeting Nigeria at a time that NMBC no longer gives money to federation accounts. When I was a governor, they used to do that. But after a while, they stopped. It's meeting Nigeria at a time that even the oil you are producing have been sold by past administrations. And so he's now going to use, he said, to think of how to generate revenue. That's why he's going around from one country to the other and saying, come to Macedonia and help us. And by the grace of Almighty Allah, you will be helped. We are praying for you. You have the wisdom, which you already have. God will give you more. You have the strength, and you have the support of Nigerians. When you leave office, you will be celebrated. Like GODSWILL is always celebrated, wherever they see him. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Much. Very much. Can we give he's actually spoken as a true Democrat. I know he has so many slogans, uncommon, but I think his greatest thing is God's will be done. And that has followed his career throughout his time. We congratulate you on this very special day. Mr. President, sir, with permission, we would like to have a presidential protocol adjustment here. So we will be taking the vote of thanks at this point before our special guest will address us. To move the vote of thanks, I invite Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, PhD, Speaker, House of Representatives, the House known as the House of the Nigerian People, to please move the vote of thanks. Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our mentor, leader, President Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, and your amiable wife, the Deputy President of the Senate and your wives, Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, leadership of the National Assembly, honorable senators and honorable colleagues, the national chairman of our great party, APC, our excellencies, governors, present here, honorable ministers, distinguished friends and well-wishers, present here, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to make a brief remarks, which will serve as the vote of thanks at the 61st birthday colloquium in honor of my brother and friend, Senator GODSWILL AKPABIO, the President of the Senate. The presence of the President, His Excellency Honorable Bola Ahmed Tinubu at this event is a clear recognition of AKPABIO's contributions to national development at both the federal and subnational levels. In all respects, therefore, this is a rare occasion to honor someone whose career has been marked by such unwavering commitment and exceptional leadership. Throughout his distinguished career, AKPABIO has embodied the values of persistence, boldness, strategic thinking, and innovative leadership. His actions, first as a governor and now as the President of the Senate, have consistently reflected a deep understanding of the complex challenges Nigeria faces as a society and a commitment to public service. The projects and initiatives he spearheaded in Akwa Ibom have contributed considerably to the economic growth and development of the state. Since our election in June 2023, I have worked closely with AKPABIO, and I can attest to his political acumen. And as we honor AKPABIO today, we are offered an opportunity to reflect on the journey so far and challenges ahead. It is also an occasion for us to reflect on the issues that have slowed our progress these past years and how to address them. Only by so doing can we develop solutions that uplift and empower Nigerians. Your Excellency, distinguished senators, members, ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria holds immense potential to be a true regional and international leader. Our country's diverse and abundant resources hold significant potential for promoting inclusive growth and development. Our diverse population and cultural richness can be the bedrock for the creative industries. At the same time, the abundant agricultural resources can create jobs and reduce food insecurity in Nigeria, Africa, and the world. There are other limitless opportunities in the oil and gas sector, technology and innovation, regional integration, trade, and tourism. The key question therefore remains, why have we failed to optimally leverage these potentials and convert them to tangible developmental outcomes? Part of the answer lies in the fact that we seem to perpetually apply the same tactics in responding to the challenges that have confronted us. I contend that we can only achieve the desired progress by thinking out of the box and developing innovative approaches to governance. In an area characterized by rapid technological advancements and overwhelming amount of information, the ability of governments to make informed decisions is crucial for effective policy making and public administration. This is the novelty that the Tinubu-led administration brings to Nigeria. The 8-point agenda is the summation of the president's vision for Nigeria. It demonstrates that the government has moved away from the hitherto impulsive and haphazard approach to issues to a model predicted on adequate planning, preparation, and consultation. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest challenge, however, is translating the President's agenda into positive and tangible outcomes for all Nigerians. It requires that MDAs, as well as policy decision makers, take active measures towards mainstreaming the agenda into all national policies, plans, and strategies. Indeed, successfully implementing the President's agenda entails that all government agencies must integrate into policies, programs, and budgets. Therefore, a monitoring mechanism is essential in tracking progress by MDS in this regard. I commend
No, you just give
Mr.
me the
President's
name
emphasis
now. Just
on ministerial performance.
I beg, no vex.
On our part, the House of Representatives has developed a detailed agenda that draws from the President's agenda and the aspirations of our constituents. We have also developed a robust tracking matrix with indicators over the short, medium, and long terms. A special committee to monitor the implementation of the agenda.
Please, can you help out with her phone?
Also ensure that all legislative proposals
it will make sense if she's holding it.
Priorities and the priorities of this government. The House will produce quarterly and annual reports highlighting the progress we are making towards realizing our goals.
Is this girl recording?
At the retreat, Your Excellency, for Chairman,
is she recording?
All committees to develop the annual work plans based on the legislative agenda. In the ongoing budget defense, our committees are scrutinizing the 2024
start recording. Start recording.
Agenda to ensure that the budget promotes food security.
No worries. It's okay.
Eradication, job creation, access to capital, inclusion, and the rule of law, among others. I'm optimistic that our approach will ensure greater synergy between executive and the legislature and deliver governance to Nigeria.
I beg, remove
I wish to reassure the President that the House and by extension the National Assembly will work collaboratively.
I used to play back at times.
To ensure the realization of your lofty dreams for Nigeria. Finally, I extend the warm congratulations of the leadership and members of the National.
All right, I'll bless the Lord of my soul and let everything that is within me praise his holy name. God has been so faithful to us. His word says he's not by power, he's not by might that we're alive today, but by his doing. So we have every cause to appreciate him. From January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, and I tell you, we're just some days, few days to wrap up the year 2023. Our time flies. So if you keep counting, or if we keep counting our blessing, we'll see that God has done us so well. So we have every cause to appreciate him for that. All right, with this understanding, I wish you lasting. All right, with this understanding, so welcome to Extreme G. It's all about gospel. I am Reviver.
May God bless you too. Let's put our hands together one more time
Victoria
for the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
All right, welcome back. I hope you had a great time there. With this great song coming from Victoria. I tell you, this song is awesome. Who's backing you?
To your brother in
is
the
it your
Senate,
friend or
in fact, has gotten to
your
a
family
point
members, your
green,
parents,
like the same color.
Your bosses in the office,
Thank you very much.
or your spouse?
So Your Excellency,
who is backing you?
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen,
who is backing you up?
the man that we're celebrating today,
The word says, look unto Jesus, the author and the
when he
finisher
said this
of
man
our faith.
lost people around.
Great song you have there
used
from
a
Victoria.
builder of
Talked
people.
about the color grading of
He
the
leads from
video.
the heart.
Awesome. Talking about the
He leads
costume,
from
the
the front.
energy that she actually put
Has a
out there.
commitment
Awesome. Great
to his
video,
dream.
great song that you
He has
have there.
unshakable
And the
conviction.
lyrics
He brings out the
is
best in people
awesome.
around him.
All right, as you know,
believe
on Extreme G, you
Nigeria.
get the latest happenings in the world of gospel music
I call
industry.
him
The month of
man
December has been a great month. We've been able
Please
to
join me
record
as I welcome
48
here
gospel
the President of the
videos that
Federal
have been
Republic of
dropped by
Nigeria.
this great
Please
gospel
welcome His
artist.
Excellency
I tell you, the
Bola
year
Ahmed
2023
Tinubu,
is
GCFR.
awesome. Like great year where we recorded massive video that's being dropped by Nigerian gospel music minister. So we're expecting more of that in the next coming year. That is the year 2024. All right, I'll be right back after our top 5 videos of the week.
Okay, welcome back. Hope you had a great time there on our top 5 videos of the week. For sponsorship and advert placement, you can call the number being displayed on your TV screen, 07033665601. Also, you can follow us up on all our social media platform, Extreme-G. As well, you can follow me up on my Instagram page with Lawrence. All right, as you know, on Extreme G, you get the latest happenings in the world of gospel music. That is, you get the latest happenings in the world of gospel music industry, and also you get to meet your favorite gospel music ministers, where they come to share their experience and what they want you and I to know about them. As we do say on this show, that without a story, you don't have a glory. Your story will always bring about your glory. And today, we're privileged to have in the studio one of the finest gospel music ministers who has done great work for herself in Nigerian gospel music industry. In person of Olubomi Sukomi. Wow, good to have you in the studio. You're looking so beautiful.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Wow. So, what's the secret of that, of your beauty? Because you're actually glowing right now.
Oh, wow, amazing. Well, it's God.
God all the way.
I have God all over me. I have His presence. And I thank Him
President and Head of State
for making me to see this beautiful day.
Wow, wow. Okay, once we carry God, we carry everything. And once we one with God, the Bible says is majority. And so I can see that reflection of Him around you. All right, glory be to God. So, who is Bumi?
Well, hello everyone. This is Bumi Sukomi, and again I'm Bumi Sukomi. I was born in Ileoluji, somewhere, a beautiful city in Ondo State.
Very inspiring.
I grew up loving God. At the age of 9, I started going to church, Anglican Church, specifically St. Peter's Anglican Church, Ileoluji, Ondo State, with my dad. Then he was one of the member of the choir right there in St. Peter's. So I just love myself, around there, and I continue to grow. I developed myself in the area of music, right there. Then later, I became a member of Winners Chapel International Ileoluji, and other things follow. So presently, I am a business analyst and at the same time into gospel.
As a gospel
music minister.
All right, you have a very good profile there. That's starting from you knowing Christ, because that is the foundation you actually have now. And you don't just get there, you're not just being a gospel music minister, like you just pick it up at that spot. It's something that you get from your parents. That is almost banningly like. Okay, so now, why did you choose gospel music, aside from the fact that it's something you get, you meet at home? Let me use that general terms.
It wasn't my choice, but I'm ordained to be a music minister. I've mentioned a couple of things, earlier. So as I continue to grow, I began to see different revelations through dreams and all that, and how God was pointing me directly into music ministry. I've seen myself in the dream in a big crusade ministry. I've seen so many things as a teenager. Unfortunately, I didn't have what we call mentor today, that I would have been able to express myself, and that way I would be able to have someone, you know, holding me and putting me through. So when I now become a member, full member of Winners Chapel, I began to see the light in what God have revealed to me in the dream, based on the teaching of the word of faith through God's servant Bishop David Oyedepo. So that was how the whole thing started. Then officially I released my first album in 2001. I made it official in 2001, and the title of the album then was Give Thanks to God.
He said he doesn't know, but he has the ambition.
Those are the areas I began to grow, release the second. No, after the first album, I traveled out of the country. And that was around 2004.
Here he goes.
That was about 18 years ago. So after like many years, I think about like 9-10 years, I released another album. That was in 2011. Titled Power of Praise. So a couple of years after, maybe like 2016, I released another one called Unstoppable Praise. Until the one for
problems.
The one I released last year, titled God Has Spoken. Wow. So I've seen God in different dimensions, pointing me. No matter I was trying to do other things, God was pointing me directly to the music ministry. I don't really like to share my dream, but as time goes on, maybe when I'm having program like more crusades and everything, if
you
I'm
have that to be able to share that. All right, now talking about your experience so far, I believe that just like we have on the show, that not all gospel music ministers are born again. Before I go into other questions, I want to ask you, is Bomi Sokon genuinely born again?
Oh, absolutely.
That's
wow. I'm 100% born again, not just born again. I am spirit-filled.
Wow. Spirit-filled. And since you have believed, you follow that call, and which is your new faith in Christ, did you have any cause? Have you ever had any cause, regrets in taking that decision? Because we always know that life is no bed of roses.
And his recommendations
that would be an abomination.
Would be definitely.
There's no going back.
You know,
and I'm so excited you're asking me this question, because I'm about to release another album. And one of the singles that I'm going to release is Jesus is the only way to heaven. I've had many encounters with God. I have many encounters with the Holy Spirit. I'm able to differentiate, you know, between what the real life is and God. He's been my supporter. I've practically seen so many things he has done for me. I've been so encouraged. I don't even need
on the right path.
I have seen myself, you know, this way, like no matter what comes my way, nothing can stop me
you as a partner
from following Jesus, because I have a partner that is the way, the truth,
and the life. All right, thank God for that decision that you took, and for you, no going back. Now, being a gospel music minister and also a career woman, how have you been able to blend these two together? A business analyst and at the same time a gospel music minister. So how have you been able to blend, balance these two?
God will
well, it's been so amazing.
Even if
it's been so amazing, you know.
God will correct it for you.
Being a music minister. The business analyst of the
Thank you very
something
much.
That I just built
so on this occasion of your birthday anniversary,
now, I think
I'm delighted to join your family,
I've been into
friends, colleagues, and again from across the country
as a gospel music minister.
A long life.
Okay, I don't want to just to dive too much on that. I think the concluding Shiloh 2023.
Actually,
I saw your performance at Shiloh, because you actually one of the lead in one of the sections. So, taking you back to what you said in your dream, that you saw yourself performing in a very large crowd. And I'll tell you that at Shiloh, which we have hundreds, thousands of people hooked up at that time. So after your performance, once you get to the house in your own quiet time, how do you feel in reflecting to your dream back there?
I felt God, and I have to be honest. And he was also telling me that he has not started. He has not started, but he just wants me to comply, follow instruction, obey. Then he's going to take me to where I'm least expected.
Okay, now you being a gospel music minister in diaspora, which Nigerians know actually your base. Last week,
yes.
And like you came to Nigeria last week.
Yes, last week. Yeah.
So now, taking you back from where we're coming from, like 15, 18 years ago, that's thereby time you started your
we allow His Excellency the President to leave. The rest of all we can be on our seats.
To what we have now.
The event is still on.
If you were
we
to
have
rate
performances, cultural
that is the growth and every good thing that we've seen in Nigerian gospel music industry on a scale of 1 to 5,
and so many more to go. Let's go back to our seats and allow
I'm
His
going to say absolutely 5.
5. So why?
Yeah, because then it was a whole lot of drama in the music industry. But this time, you know, thank God for the social media. We have so many things now that you have no reason for you not to fulfill destiny. The way I'm looking at it now. Before you have to look up to this, you have to look up to that in order for you to be able to achieve your purpose. But this time around, everything has changed. The music ministry now, the entertainment now, I believe, resides in Nigeria.
Wow.
Because everybody are now looking up to
Africa.
And precisely Nigeria. To be specific here, Nigeria. Even Americans love to collaborate.
Let's say the singing bird has a stage.
So I'm going to give it like 5.
That's beautiful. There's this saying that most of the gospel music ministers in diaspora to say that has to do with their relationship with each other as a gospel music minister. And you being there, what will you say the relationship is between our gospel music minister over there? Do you think there is that synergy among them, that love among them? Because some of them do complain that even those that knows have the means, they always find it difficult to show the other person way. They don't want to show you way even when they know another thing. That the platform over there, everybody is just on it.
Well, they said that.
So what is your own view?
I don't even know what others will be saying about me. But in my own perspective, I'm going to say we love each other. Just that we've not been able to have the time to come together because everybody is busy with one thing. Some have other jobs they are doing. So because of that, it's hard for us to be able to come together. I think the only time I've seen gospel music ministers, coming together was when they had the service of song for late Samuel Boso in this year. I wasn't around, I was actually in Nigeria. And I was so excited, seeing all the music ministers, coming together. I really love that. And I think it should be something we have to do because we can't just hold microphone talking about Jesus without showing love to each other. Because the love starts within us right here. Because if you say you love the God that you did not see,
how much more?
How much more?
The one you see.
So the one you see, you have to start with the one you see right here. God is love. You have to start with the one you see right here. When you show that love within them, you also
giving it back to him. He was all glory and honor. Okay, that's awesome song. That's one of your songs for me. That's intro. What is the inspiration?
Intro was a song that I received 2 weeks before the state of emergency was declared in 2020 by the pandemic, COVID-19. So I came home during the 21 days fasting and prayers in the Winners Chapel International Global. So I was in Canaan land and I was in my hotel room, that's the guest house, in the place of worship, and I just heard him. He spoke to me and I was writing things down about enthroned. So he was talking about him. Then he took me to the book of Revelation and opened my eyes, right there in Revelation, revealing to me things that we didn't see. That we have to really go back to our Bible to be able to see all the unseen. Many people are hearing from outside. They're hearing what the pastor preaches and all that, but you've not found God yourself. And it's very important. So enthroned, everything about that song, was inspired. I got the inspiration from God and also from His word.
Wow. I actually like the energy you pull out there. Great delivery, like the way you pull yourself, and how you describe and the way they represent the visuals, which really speak more about the song itself. Great song you have there. Okay, because of our time, I believe there are people out there that is actually at the verge of giving up their call in Christ. Being a gospel music minister and with your own experience, what word of encouragement would you have for such person that is at the verge of giving up his call in Christ?
Well, if you're watching me, wherever you're watching me from, I just want to let you know that God loves you. And whatever your dreams are that you expect from God, I want you to know that God has forgotten you, that delay is never denied. Just be encouraged. There is this word I got, and the finisher of your faith. And He's going to see you through. I want to assure you, if God can pick me out of where I came from, Ileoluji, and brought me to this level that I am right now, God can do it to anyone. So be encouraged.